Hello everyone, it's David again. I'm here at Babylon 5, Season 3, Episode 2. It's the year 2260, and the title of the episode is Convictions. Starts off with some Drazi who are trying to get a large ceremonial blade on board to try and bless the station. They believe that their angel Droshala, aka Kosh, has somehow blessed Babylon 5. And you get the impression from Zach Allen and Michael Garibaldi that there have been a lot of religious pilgrims to Babylon 5 since Kosh's coming out, if you will. So, at any rate, Ivanova says that 3 anonymous messages, chaos is coming, and then there is an explosion in Down Below. We cue the entrance, and we have Patrick Kilpatrick playing Robert Carlson, the bomber, Mad Bomber. He also starred with Bill Mumy in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Siege of AR-558. He was born 20th August 1949 in Virginia, and thankfully he's still with us. So it makes you wonder if he'll ever do another part in the new Babylon 5. You go on down, we have Louis Torini as Brother Theo. He was born 26 November 1933. Sadly, he passed away in 25 July 2006. He's Canadian. He played Drawl originally, if you remember, but due to health reasons, he couldn't continue in that role, and then he instead had Brother Theo written for him. So, wonderful actor. Sadly, he won't be on the new Babylon 5. And we zip on down, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa as Morishi. You'll remember him for Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat movie. So, we zip on in, and Brother Theo arrives on station. He's interviewing with Ivanova. Basically, he wants to learn all the names of God. And it sounds kind of like he talks about God, that God is basically every different species that's come on has some iteration of God. And so he wants to learn all the names of God. Kind of reminds me of Noah and the flood story. If you go back, like I had a friend of mine give me the Hopi Bible, supposedly, the Hopi natives. They're down in Arizona, and they believe have a flood story, just like Noah's flood. If you go, just about every peoples that was around at that time has some sort of flood. There was some sort of like sin was rampant throughout the world, and so God or the gods or whatever sent this huge flood to cleanse the earth. And so that's why a lot of people think that there was an actual flood incident, maybe occurring around the Dardanelles in modern-day Turkey. Some of the things that I've heard, he's got some highly sought-after experts. And a lot of people are like, experts, they're all monks and brothers and stuff, what? How can they be experts in something other than religion? And it reminds me of, like my own pastor, Lutheran. He had 4 master's degrees. I went in when we were doing our interview, just walls and walls of degrees, including a nursing degree from Pacific Lutheran University. And that's where I ended up getting my nursing degree. I only got a bachelor's degree. He had a master's plastered on the wall. As well as like exocelestial theology, and then some other things having to do with religion. Also, there I worked at a Catholic, first a nursing home, and then a Catholic hospital, and lots of different, the head nun there was Sister, and then later Mother Mary of the Angels, and she was a registered nurse. Got her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from University of Portland. I remember there was one, she was a medical doctor, and she had the big, habit and the full-on, dress of a nun, and I got just a brief bit of her name badge, and it was doctor, and it was Vietnamese she was, and then it said MD, medical doctor, and it said medical doctor below her name badge. So yeah, people who are in the religious, your doctor or pastor or preacher or nun or whomever you call them, they might have multiple degrees and different specialties. Even doctors now, they're starting to encourage people who become medical doctors to get their undergraduate degrees in things other than biology or chemistry. Some of the doctors I worked with one had a degree in interpretive dance. Really a great doctor too, by the way. All of a sudden, Lennier goes to greet Delenn. Unfortunately, a bomb explodes, and Lennier, throws Delenn back behind the pressure door, and grabs Londo and throws him behind the pressure door before, unfortunately, a secondary blast throws him up against the wall and knocks him into a coma. So, basically, the Narns and the Centauri are all running around accusing each other of causing the bombings on Babylon 5. And Londo makes a statement to Sheridan that kind of caught me. He said, "There's nothing political about the truth, Captain, as you will discover soon enough." And I'm like, wow, Londo, you don't live in current times, I'll tell you that much. Because right now, if it's the truth, we just label it fake news and something to be completely ignored or, in fact, ridiculed and avoided at all costs. So, he starts in the how many Centauri does it take to turn in a light bulb, as he's sitting here talking to Lennier, who is in a coma. Now, having been a nurse, I can tell you right now, yes, people who are in comas can hear everything that you say. I've had 2 episodes where patients of mine have come out of a coma. Usually it's over a period of time that they come out, but sometimes I'll have had people come in. They both were minor strokes, and they just kind of popped right out on the day shift, and I came in on evenings or the night shift, depending on where I was. And they were like, "Oh, I know you. You're David." And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you remember me? You were in a coma the whole time," because they would come from the ICU to my unit, in a coma. So they rightly should have no idea who I am. "You're the guy whose mother's name is Alice, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Huh?" I just watched my head spin right around. "And you have a cat named Fuzzbucket." And I am like, "Yeah, but how do you know?" "Well, you keep, every time you're in the room to take care of us, you keep talking like we're part of your family. And that's why I really was hoping to get, you as my nurse to take care of me, because I just got so curious as to what happened to your mom and to your cat and everything else." And so I would share, as appropriate, what happened to my mom or my cat or whatever it was. And we're all taught as nurses to always, if someone's in a coma, always treat them like they can hear everything you say. And it's happened to one of my instructors, and it's happened to me on 2 separate occasions, where someone has woken up and they're like, "I do not want nurse so-and-so in my room ever again." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it was the same person. And I'm like, "Have you told the nurse manager, my boss named, is it Leslie?" "Yep." "Okay, I've already told her, but he is never to come in my room ever again." I don't know what was wrong with this particular person, because 99.9% of his patients absolutely loved him. But it seems like people who were coming out of a coma, he must have said something that really turn them off, or what. So my message to everybody listening to you is, always act like if you're going to go talk to Uncle Gary and he's in a coma, or your mother, or always, always, always be under the proviso, or be aware that they can hear, and yes, they will hear everything that you say. So if you say something bad, you might find yourself written out of their will. So, just a word of advice. Brother Theo's group goes over footage of the bombing, and sure enough, they find the mad bomber. We zip on in, and another bombing takes place, and Londo and Jakar wind up in the same tube. And as the humans say, "Up yours, die." As Jakar is hoping that he gets to watch Londo die. As we all know, if Jakar puts his hands on Londo, then it will be the death of 500 Narns, including Jakar's own family. But he thinks that he gets to watch Londo die for free, and so he's happy. And as we know, Londo is, panic-stricken, as any of us would be if we were caught in a burning elevator shaft. Michael Garibaldi, I already went over that part. The bomber ends up getting caught by Sheridan, and I'll let you watch that yourself. Kind of a mediocre acting scene, I guess. But the bomber is eventually caught, and Londo and Jakar are rescued, much to Jakar's chagrin and much to Londo's delight. And that pretty much concludes kind of not much going on plot-wise, but at any rate, have any of you ever had any sort of things to do with somebody who's been in a coma, and then suddenly comes out, and then they're like full of surprises when they come out of a coma, because they overheard a bunch of stuff that was said when everybody thinks, oh, they're going to die, and all of a sudden, boom, they come out of a coma, and wow, you remember that? If any of you had those sort of episodes, go ahead and comment down below. I'd be really interested to hear what other people's experiences have been. So at any rate, like, comment, subscribe, and please share. Hope you all have a good rest of your holiday season of 2021.